And on the topic of clapping, how about some clapbacks for Pete Buttigieg? Our new NBC News exclusive reporting shows how his opponents are scrambling to dig up dirt on the 37-year-old mayor, who was really on nobody's radar as a serious presidential contender until just the last few weeks. NBC News national political reporter Josh Lederman is here with his exclusive reporting. NBC News road warrior Vaughn Hilliard is traveling with Kamala Harris's campaign, and Betsy and Sahil are back with me as well. So, Josh, let me start with you. What are you finding? What are you learning?
Well, Hallie, because Pete Buttigieg kind of came out of nowhere, he hadn't really had the due diligence done on him that had been done for years on Joe Biden, on Elizabeth Warren, on Bernie Sanders, people that everybody knew was going to run. And every campaign and political group on both the Democratic side and the Republican side had books ready to go with everything they've ever said, footnoted, so they knew how to go after them in the campaign. Now, with Pete Buttigieg surging into third place in the polls, even in a statistical tie with Joe Biden in a new poll out of New Hampshire, his rivals are scrambling to try to do that digging, find some lines of attack that could be useful against him. So they're digging through his record as mayor, trying to get their hands on any kind of documents that they can find, as well as anything he might have said or written when he was at Harvard, when he was a Rhodes Scholar, his work at McKinsey, a consulting firm that's not particularly popular within the Democratic Party. And they're seeing what there might be that would stick against Pete Buttigieg.
And it's Republicans, too, right, stepping up their oppo.
Yeah, that's right, Hallie. So the Republican Party, the RNC, also didn't have a major operation tracking Pete Buttigieg, the mayor of a mid-sized town. So they've been working with the Indiana State Republican Party, who has been tracking him closely, at least since the time that Pete Buttigieg ran that unsuccessful campaign for DNC chair. So they've been working with the local party, who's been tracking some of the more controversial parts of his tenure as mayor, including how African Americans have fared in South Bend, how he handled the demolition of abandoned houses in the city, and other issues related to the opening of a crisis pregnancy center that discouraged abortion, trying to find things that might be potential vulnerabilities to use against Pete Buttigieg.
Sahil, Josh writes in his piece, speaking with a rival Democratic presidential campaign member, who says Buttigieg is a, quote, 37-year-old kid mayor who nobody knows anything about. He's getting a significant free pass on a lot of stuff. There's a novelty there. People don't know anything about him, so he can kind of be whatever people want him to be. But if he sustains this, that will come down to earth.
Buttigieg has had a meteoric rise, and with that comes the treatment as a major candidate in a presidential field this crowded when the stakes are this high. Now, some of the issues that are coming out about him, some of the oppo on him, especially surrounding this police chief, gets straight to the issue of racism and law enforcement. This is a monumentally important issue to the African-American community, which is among the most important voting blocs in the Democratic Party. There's a lot of talk about his potential strengths with white Midwestern voters, potential Trump to Obama crossover voters. If you're a Democratic candidate in this primary and you're not making a compelling case as to how you can win African-American voters, you're not going to be a serious candidate, because Iowa and New Hampshire are not the electorate.